Alrighty, YouTube, it's your boy Zuxus, and we're back with another Goddess of Victory Nikkei video. In today's video, we're going to be ranking Snow White and Red Hood on the tier list, right? On the overall community tier list, right? From now on, this is my third time saying this, that's why I'm like, thing. But from now on, we are going to be ranking them on this tier list, like as a community. So if you guys don't know, I already made a community post hours ago, 4,000 votes on where should Red Hood be placed on the tier list, and then where should Snow White with the comments. So we are going to, be ranking them there and all that stuff. And yeah, make sure you guys subscribe. Like less than 150 away from 9,000, 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And let's go. Oh, also, if Red Hood does end up getting a buff, because as you guys know, the drama was there. Red Hood ends up getting a buff, just gonna redo the video with just Red Hood. Not even like it's not gonna be a long video. It's just gonna be an update. It's just gonna be an update, right? But yeah, subscribe and like if you guys want to be a part of the community tier list, right? I mean, you don't have to subscribe and like to do that, but it's appreciated, right? So let's talk about these characters. Alrighty, so Snow White Innocent Days. This is the free-to-play character that everybody gets. Max limit broken. Very, very good character in my opinion. For a free character, she's very, very useful. She's better than a lot of the DPS in the game. Like, I mean a lot of them. I would say she's better than like 90% of the maybe not 90. Who's the like DPS here? I would say she's better than Eula, Vesti, Sugar, Solene, Kiri, if that's considered a DPS. Okay, let me put Burst Attacker. Better than these guys. Better than you, surprisingly. Maybe not Laplace. Better than Julia. Actually better than Isabel. Yeah, she's better than a lot of the DPSs in the game. But she's really, really good. So, the one thing about her is that she's meant for mob clearing. What that means is she's an AoE-based unit. Her whole thing is to really handle projectiles and multiple enemies, right? You're not going to really see much from this character when fighting in like a solo raid or union raid or special interception against bosses. She's not really going to be that great in solo combat, but in story progression, even PvP, she could be pretty decent. I haven't really tried her there yet. I tried her a bit, but it wasn't really working out because like my team was Burst Generation heavy, so they would just die instantly. Didn't really get much results there, but you guys already gave her the ranking and stuff like that. Campaign, perfect character. And then also Tower is going to be very good. She's good in a lot of the contents. Just against bosses, she's going to have her uses against the bosses that have projectiles, like Land Eater, Nihilister, Modernia, right? Those bosses she'll be quite useful against. Blacksmith, right? She'll be useful against them, but not really in terms of damage, just more of supporting. So she's pretty good, right? When you land a certain amount of normal attacks, she will do the AoE damage. But when you land 30 normal attacks, she does have ammo capacity increase, and she stacks that 5 times, right? When you use her burst skill, she does increase attack damage by 21% at level 10, which is actually just the damage number, not really the attack stat. But her burst skill is crazy, right? She lowers the cooldown, not the cooldown, but the requirement from 50 normal attacks on skill 2 to all enemies by 20. So that brings it from 50 normal attacks to 30 normal attacks to proc it, and that lasts for 10 seconds. She has unlimited ammo, but she increases her attack by 97.2% of the caster's attack for 10 seconds. That's crazy. 97.2%. Let me give you guys like an example of what that looks like. Okay, so right now my Snow White without overload gear, without pilgrim gear, she only has the one piece here, but she doesn't have pilgrim gear or anything like that. She doesn't even have a good cube on, right? Not a good enough cube. If I gave her my resilience cube, it would be more stats. But my Snow White with 50,000 attack, if she was to have that 97.2 attack buff, she would be getting, let's see, 92.7 divided by 100%. She would be giving herself an additional 46,000 attack buff. So if we add that number with 50, like the attack number, this is how much attack she would have when using her burst skill on top of the 21% attack damage buff. Not really going to be going into her stats, but it's going to be more damage, right? So you get into level 10 skills, it's kind of like the other Snow White. You don't really need to invest into her for her to be good, but if you do invest into her, she's gonna be a million times better. You're gonna see results. So yeah, the thing is, you guys most likely voted that she is a tier or S tier character. A lot more people said A than S, right? I think she's a high A, low S tier character. I honestly don't know if I would say she's on par with these characters. I don't know. I feel like saying she's on par with these characters or is a reach, but she's definitely like levels above some of these characters. I'd say the only character here, like only few characters here she's on par with is like Haran, Guillotine, Noir, Laplace, Drake. Yeah, so I think high A is a perfect tier for her actually, because she's a very good character. Again, you're not gonna see much damage against bosses, but against bosses with projectiles, you're still not gonna see, numbers, but she will be very useful. And then bosses with mobs like freaking Material H or Mother Will, she'll be useful there as well. But mainly she's like an AoE type thing, so very good. And she's a free character at that. For a free character to be very high A, low S is very, very good. Now we have, Red Hood, the character people are calling mid hood. Now it's a bit funny that people are calling her mid hood because majority of you guys voted that she's S, and then the second highest tier was SS. So I don't know, is an S or SS tier character mid, right? Now remember, this tier list was created by the community. I guess I didn't explain the tiers. SS is like the perfect characters all around. S are the good characters but have the flaws behind them. So for example, we came to a decision that Alice is an S tier character because she's only good when you invest into her. Same thing with Snow White, same thing with a lot of these other characters. Well, that's just those two, right? Privity probably could be SS, same as Senti. 2B, you need her to like be in long fights for it to shine. And then A2, you need her to have a healer, for example, right? We also have their own tiers for bunny girls and schoolgirls and individual tiers for anyone new. So yeah, that's why. I'm not going to explain why everybody's in every tier. I've already done that. So I'm not going to do it every time I make a tier list video. But not Snow White. Red Hood. Red Hood. Very good character, just a bit iffy in my opinion. I think the biggest problem with this character is, one, the damage output she does as a burst 3 and just as a regular, not even a regular character, just as a burst 3 DPS, she does, her damage is just not good enough, compared to what we've seen with the live stream. I'm telling you guys right now, I'm going to be completely honest, if we didn't see the live stream, I think people would still be like, okay, she's underwhelming, but she was definitely not going to be like, because right now people want the Red Hood that we've seen from the live stream gameplay. If we never seen that gameplay and the JP like live stream was the exact same as the global and Korea's, you guys would have never known that Red Hood was able to hit that hard, which means most of you guys, I would want to say, would be more satisfied with the Red Hood you got now. Maybe a lot of you guys would still be disappointed that she's not the best character in the game with this exact kit, but obviously going based on the live stream compared to what we got is going to be more of an issue than if we just got her like this without the live streams like influence on it, right? So keep that in mind. But I think there's a lot of problems with this character, not necessarily like, I don't want to say bad problems. I mean, I guess they are bad, right? For example, all burst 1, 2, and 3 are locked behind the 40-second cooldown, right? So they do have this cooldown of burst skill on the burst 1 and 2 that activates one time per battle. It gets reduced by 40 seconds, but after you use that one time, it's just a 40-second cooldown and it hurts to run, right? For example, let's say I want to use it as a burst 1. I use it as a burst 1. I can no longer use it as a burst 3 if the cooldown has already been used, that like once per battle thing has already been used. It's a bit unfortunate. I think they should have made that burst 1 a 20-second cooldown. All they would have to do is remove the activates 1 per battle and then change that 40 to a 20. That's exactly how you get a 20-second cooldown on the burst 1 and still have 40 seconds on the burst 2 and 3. I think the burst 2 is not good enough. I really don't find any like reason why you would use this. Maybe you need a heal, sure, but the taunt with just the healing is not good enough. I feel like you need to have damage reduction if you're taunting. I think we can all agree on that. Why would I want a character who can just massively heal if they can just get one tap and then die? With damage reduction, that would protect us from taking massive blows, and then we still have the heals to heal it up with the damage reduction, right? So that's just how I see it. And then obviously her damage is just not that great compared to what we've seen on the live stream. And I always say compared to what we've seen on the live stream, because realistically her damage isn't bad, right? She's still doing more damage than a lot of these other characters in the game. Her damage is just, I don't want to say it's average. It's like, her damage is like on par with like A2 maybe in some situations. Like for example, my Red Hood always does more damage than my Summer Anise, right? Or on par with her. She never catches up to Modernia. She does more damage than A2, does more damage than 2B in long fights. Like my Red Hood performs, right? My Red Hood performs. So there's that, right? Obviously people want her to be the best character in the game, and if she's not surpassing Scarlet, Alice, Modernia's damage, people are not going to approve of it, hence why they're calling her mid-hood, right? So her damage isn't necessarily completely bad, it's just not as good as it's supposed to be, especially since in the live stream we're seeing her hit what we want her to hit. Like the live stream damage she was producing is like better than Alice, better than Scarlet level, right? But this one here, 27% of final attack, and because the weapon changed, it's just not good enough, right? The defense she gives herself, not that crazy. The recovery is really good. The attack buff when you use her burst 3 is really good. Her burst 1 is really good, right? It's just a 40-second cooldown, and then everything about the charge speed, extra charge speed past 100%, getting covered in charge damage, really good. So they really just need to change those. I think if they are going to tackle this character and buff her like the community wants, literally don't even just give us what they had on the live stream. Maybe this is a bit much, but I don't think it's a problem for them to change that cooldown of burst skill reduced by 40 seconds once per battle to 20 seconds permanently, right? Because then you could choose between using the burst 1 every burst rotation, or if you want to use her as a burst 3 unit, you would wait the actual 40 seconds and then use her burst 3. That's how I see it realistically, right? Because remember, Red Hood's whole job still, not many people are talking about it, but Red Hood's job is to still fill in for those burst 1 and 2 or 3 characters that end up dying in the game. So she is still very good. To say she's mid and to say if anybody says she's not mid is cope is just silly. Because she is still a great character overall. I think you guys are dragging it to the brim, but it's nothing new in this community. I say this all the time, and I'm gonna keep it no filter. I'm gonna keep it blunt. Y'all drag it to the point where you're dragging it to say she's like Snow White is better than Red Hood, right? To say she's just completely mid because she doesn't do more numbers than 2 specific characters is a bit stupid in my opinion. But again, thankfully they did it like low rank her like horribly and like let the mid comment, like mid hood, you know, band or whatever you want to call that, the mid hood train, like influenced the decision. So the community came together and decided that she's an S tier character. Honestly, I think that's where she is. I think she's an S tier character. I don't know if I would say she's high S. I'd say she's probably around this level of S right here. Right. I think if they buff her and give us the live stream, you know, Red Hood, or give us the Red Hood that I just said, personally, I would put her in SS tier, but ideally the live stream Red Hood is the Red Hood we need to get the SS tier. Future Zux is here. I forgot to mention the reason why, but she is pretty good in PvP because it's against regular Nick Hayes. She is going to like really handle them if you are able to get her burst 1 and 3 off at the same time, which is doable because PvP you only really go through 1 burst cycle. Against bosses, she is really good. Again, her damage is really good. I think it's just people want her to be the anniversary level or the live stream level Red Hood, which is the one we don't have, but her damage is still good against bosses. She does shred against bosses, and in story she does, like, she's still a very good character at the end of the day, right? She does very well in all content, just not the live stream Red Hood. That's it. That's all it is. She's not the Red Hood live stream. So yeah, right. But it's unfortunate that the anniversary character couldn't be at the highest tier. But it is fortunate that, you know, the free-to-play character is actually going to be usable, actually going to be runnable, be very helpful for a lot of new players and older players, right? And, you know, be in the meta for a while. So not necessarily in the meta of solo raid and union raids, but just like general progression. She's going to be very helpful there. So this is the general tier list. Again, this is the tier list that myself and the community have come up with, but I let you guys mostly rank these characters. I do agree with these ranks, hence why I'm not like saying I think she's SS, I think she's A tier. I do think Snow White could be argued to S tier, and I wouldn't disagree if you guys wanted her in S tier, but leave your comments down below on this video. If you didn't vote, let me know if you agree with my takes or the community's takes, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.